And a jury starting day 2 of deliberations in the trial of the father of the Michigan high school shooter. Prosecutors say James Crumbley bought his son the gun used in the attack, failed to properly secure it, and chose not to take his son home the day of the shooting, despite a warning from the school about his mental health. ABC's Trevor Alt joins me now for more. Trevor, what's the latest from the court on this?
So the second day of deliberations have begun, Diane. They deliberated for about 90 minutes yesterday. They could have stayed late into the night if they were close to a decision. They chose instead to leave at about 4:45, which does tell us that they weren't ready to issue a final vote or a final verdict. They're back now this morning in court discussing all of the evidence. I can tell you that this trial went a lot faster than his wife's trial, Jennifer Crumbley, did, but that verdict could come early this morning, or it could be several hours. It took 11 hours for the first jury to reach their verdict.
Jennifer was convicted of involuntary manslaughter. How did these cases differ at all in terms of what the jury needs to consider?
Sure. Well, a lot of it was incredibly similar. I mean, you saw the prosecution calling the same witnesses in a lot of the same order, making the same arguments, and even the defense attorney made similar arguments that James Crumbley had no way of knowing what his son was capable of. But there are some discrepancies in terms of the evidence. There were text messages that the shooter sent his mother where he was talking about seeing demons in spirits. She never replied. He said, "Can you please at least text back?" She didn't reply to that. Prosecutors used that as an argument to say, here she is ignoring her son's pleas for mental health. That was not allowed admitted in this trial. That is a difference. But of course, there are also some things that the prosecution admitted against James Crumbley that they didn't against the mother. For example, the morning of the shooting, the parents called into the school. They declined to take him home, saying that they had to get back to work. Well, James Crumbley worked as a DoorDash driver. He set his own hours. He didn't have to necessarily go back to work, and if he did, he could have taken his son with him in the car for DoorDash, and he hadn't even started working until after the meeting. There are bits and pieces that are different, but overall, the trial was very similar to what we saw. It's possible we'll see a similar verdict, too.
James and Jennifer Crumbley are the first parents in the U.S. to be charged in their child's mass shooting. What's the historic nature of this case and the potential precedent here?
Yeah, so this would have been the first parent, if James Crumbley were convicted, would have been the first parent to be held criminally responsible, if not for his wife already being convicted here. What hangs on this, I think, has to do with her potential appeal. If you get James Crumbley found not guilty, then that serves as an argument for Jennifer Crumbley, which they've already vowed to appeal her verdict. That will give them at least some precedent of the juries aren't so sure on this. And we saw in her first trial, she decided to take the stand in her own defense. And a lot of people think that didn't her no favors, including some members of the jury who said that when she took the stand and said when she looks back she wouldn't do anything differently, that registered in their minds. It's possible she goes to appeal, gets another trial, decides not to take the stand in her own defense. Having said that, it doesn't necessarily seem likely that you're going to see the mother found guilty of involuntary manslaughter, but the father found not guilty here. This could be precedent-setting in that now prosecutors across the country in the wake of school shootings at least know it's a possibility to charge these parents. We had never seen it before these two parents were charged. Since then, we've already seen a couple parents of school shooters who are facing charges. These are the first ones to go on trial here, too, so we are in uncharted territory.
All right, ABC's Trevor Alt, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.